When Jordan Ellis walked into urgent care that Monday, he expected a routine checkup, not a test results with a word he'd only read in pamphlets: gonorrhea. He hadn't touched anyone but his wife in 15 years. That night, he sat alone in the car outside their home, test results trembling in his hand, deciding whether to walk in or start a quiet war he never asked for. He chose silence first, but silence, for Jordan, would become the loudest weapon of all. Jordan Ellis had always been a man of structure. At 39, he was the kind of person who color-coded spreadsheets for his team at the financial firm, filed his tax documents before the year even ended, and still printed out boarding passes just in case his phone died. His wife, Maya, often teased him about it. "You're the only person I know who organizes chaos," she'd say, laughing as she adjusted the ring light for one of her wellness live streams. Maya Ellis, 37, was the opposite of Jordan in nearly every way. A yoga instructor turned wellness influencer, a believer in crystals, diffuser oils, and the power of manifesting energy. Together, they made a striking pair in their Atlanta home: order and openness, restraint and radiance. Their daughters, 14-year-old Layla and 11-year-old Naya, inherited the best of both. Layla was steady and observant like her father. Nia was bold and expressive like her mother. Mornings in their home followed a delicate rhythm. Maya humming as she prepped green smoothies, Jordan double-checking lunchboxes, the girls chattering about school projects. From the outside, it was idyllic. But on that particular Monday morning, something was off. Jordan sat in his home office, eyes scanning rows of projected earnings and quarterly losses, but his mind wasn't on numbers. A low, persistent burning sensation gnawed at his lower abdomen, a discomfort he'd been brushing off for days. Probably too much coffee, he told himself, or maybe the late-night Thai food. He shifted in his chair and glanced toward the open doorway. The eucalyptus mist from Maya's diffuser drifted into the room, threading its way between his thoughts. "Breathe deeper, Jordan," Maya called out from the living room, where she was adjusting a ring light. "Manifest calm," he forced a chuckle. "I'll manifest a deadline extension while I'm at it." Maya didn't look up. "You should really get that checked out." "It's nothing, probably stress," he said, already pulling up the next file. By 7:45 a.m., the family was gathered in the kitchen. Maya moved with practiced grace, packing snacks into eco-friendly containers, her gold bangles chiming with each movement. Jordan poured himself coffee, his hand trembling just slightly as he lifted the mug. "You sure you're okay, Dad?" Layla asked, sliding her art sketchbook into her backpack. He smiled and kissed the top of her head. "Fine, big meeting today." Nia looked up from her cereal. "You look kinda pale." "That's just Dad without enough coffee," Maya said lightly. "Let's go, girls." School bells echoed faintly as Jordan drove off alone after drop-off, the tightness in his chest now paired with a sharper ache. At a red light, his phone buzzed with a health app reminder: annual physical overdue. He swiped it away. But by noon, the burning had become a sharp, unmistakable pain. He didn't remember making the turn, only that one moment he was gripping the wheel with stubborn resolve, and the next he was pulling into the parking lot of an urgent care clinic, tucked between a nail salon and a dry cleaner. 15 minutes, he muttered, locking the car, then back to work. Inside, the air smelled faintly of antiseptic and plastic. The waiting room was nearly empty. He checked in, filled out a brief form, and was ushered into a small exam room by a nurse who barely looked old enough to drive. Dr. Rhea Moss entered 10 minutes later. She was in her mid-40s, confident without being cold, her presence calm and efficient. "Mr. Ellis, your symptoms align with a possible infection, so we ran a NAT, a nucleic acid amplification test." Jordan sat up straighter. And? Dr. Moss glanced at the tablet in her hand, then set it aside. The result came back positive, gonorrhea. Jordan blinked, his mind blanking for a second. That can't be right. Her voice remained even. It detects infection within the last 2 to 14 days. It's reliable. I recommend treatment today, and you should inform any recent partners so they can be tested too. There's no one else, he said. Still, she added gently, retesting in 7 days is advised. I can also refer you to a therapist if needed. The crinkle of her gloves and the low hum of a monitor filled the silence that followed. Jordan nodded, numb. He left the clinic with the folded test sheet crumpled in his fist. The automatic doors hissed open to an unseasonably bright Atlanta afternoon. In the car, he sat for a long time. The paper trembled in his hands like it held heat. His phone sat screen up on the passenger seat. Maya's contact floated at the top of his recent calls. His finger hovered. Then he tapped a different name, Jordan Ellis, 62. His mother, retired principal, choir member, the steady matriarch of the Ellis clan. The phone rang once, twice. He hung up. Not yet. Dinner that evening was quinoa bowls and candied yams. Maya chatted about new wellness clients, a brand partnership with a candle company. Jordan nodded, offered the right sounds at the right times. Every word felt rehearsed. The nat sheet lay buried beneath socks in his dresser drawer. Let's not bring work stress home, okay? Maya said cheerfully, reaching across the table to light her new diffuser. Lavender this time. Right, Jordan murmured. That night, he lay in bed beside her, her breathing slow and steady. He stared at the ceiling while the glow of her phone illuminated her face. She was reposting an old photo of them on a beach. The caption, "Love is breath, not weight." He saved the post. Later, in the soft orange light of a street lamp outside their window, he retrieved the folded test sheet. The words hadn't changed. They stared up at him like a confession in print. He refolded it carefully. If this is truth, he whispered, I'll face it my way. And he drove back into the night, the paper beside him on the passenger seat, silent and undeniable. 1 week had passed since the visit to urgent care. Jordan Ellis, now tethered to a truth he hadn't asked for, sat in his car outside the clinic for the second time. The first test had rattled his belief in reality. Today's retest promised either relief or confirmation. Rain slid steadily across the windshield like a slow, deliberate metronome. Inside the clinic, the waiting room buzzed with fluorescent silence. Plastic chairs, masked faces, muted coughs. Jordan didn't enter. He preferred the controlled stillness of his car, the soft purr of the engine under idle, the distance from others' eyes. His phone vibrated. Mr. Ellis, this is Dr. Moss. The results came back confirmed. It wasn't a fluke. You and your partner will both need treatment. I'll have the script sent over. Jordan said nothing at first. Then, in a flat voice, Understood. Thank you. He didn't drive off right away, just stared ahead, rain distorting the world outside like it was underwater. The ache inside him was no longer physical. It had shape now, a name, a timeline. He finally thumbed open his contact list, hesitated at Maya's name, then scrolled further, past colleagues, past friends, until he found Jordan Ellis, his mother. Ma, Jordan, what's wrong, baby? His voice cracked before the words even formed. He swallowed it back. Come eat, Lorraine said gently, as if she could hear the storm in his chest. We'll talk. Gospel music played softly from her kitchen radio when he arrived. Lorraine, 62, always kept the radio tuned low to a station she claimed fed the soul. She wore a green apron dusted with flour and a calmness that came from weathering life, not escaping it. She didn't press. She just handed him a warm biscuit and kept kneading dough. "I'm not sick, Ma. I'm betrayed," he finally said. Her hands paused, just for a beat, then resumed. "Your father, he once faltered, years ago. We didn't talk about it at the time. We prayed, we shouted, we healed. Took years." Jordan blinked. He hadn't known. "But I forgave with both eyes open. Don't let anger decide for you. Keep your dignity. Protect your girls." Back home, Maya was in the middle of a live yoga session. She smiled into the camera, voice fluid, pose elegant. "Find your center. Let the outside world fall away." Jordan watched from the doorway, arms crossed. When she finished, she turned and grinned. "Hey babe, you okay?" "Just tired." But his eyes moved to the timestamp on her screen. It didn't match the class schedule she had printed on the fridge. A small thing, a slip. But his mind, now alert, filed it. That night, Maya's cracked phone screen caught the reflection of brake lights. She was driving, playlist loud, glancing at her phone. A text pinged. She tilted it, thumbs quick. The car in front braked. She gasped, swerved slightly, then laughed. Red light glinted through the fractured glass. The following evening, Jordan returned to the drawer. The test results were still there, folded tight. He reached in, hand trembling. The drawer stuck halfway. He forced it shut. The sound of wood scraping on wood scraped his calm, too. He sat at his laptop and opened a new folder. Dates and times. He took screenshots of Maya's public class schedule, saved the timestamps, labeled each file. "Just facts," he whispered. Over the next few days, Maya wore a new perfume, left for studio meetings that ran late. Jordan, calm on the surface, tracked every discrepancy. His notes grew longer, more precise. Still, there was no hard proof, until dinner. They sat with Layla, 14, and Nia, 11. Normal chatter, pasta and garlic bread. Then her phone lit up, a heart emoji. From a number saved as J, she flipped it face down. "Oh, just a client," she laughed too quickly. "Of course," Jordan said evenly. He didn't confront, not yet. That night, in the quiet dark of the guest room, he typed, "Licensed Private Investigators Atlanta," into his browser. He read through profiles until he found one that felt solid. Drew Coleman, ex-cop, licensed PI, bound by law to ethical surveillance. He filled out the contact form. "I need truth done right," he typed. Just before bed, Layla tiptoed in. "Daddy, look." She held up an art project, a folded paper house with a tiny window missing. "It's not finished," she said. He studied her soft eyes, the hint of worry beneath them. "Looks perfect, baby. We'll fix the window later." Later, when the house was quiet, Jordan stood in the kitchen. The diffuser clicked off, mist fading. The silence had weight now. He looked at Maya's glowing phone screen on the counter, then at the folded test results in his pocket. Truth and illusion, side by side. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we start." The next morning, Jordan pulled into a quiet strip plaza south of Midtown. The sky was low and gray, the kind of overcast that pressed down on your shoulders. He parked beside a rusted HVAC van and stared up at a plain glass door with stenciled white letters, Drew Coleman, Investigations. The office was dim inside, lit by flickering fluorescents and one crooked floor lamp. The stale smell of burned coffee lingered like a warning. Jordan paused at the threshold. Drew Coleman, 42, looked exactly like someone you'd hire to dig through your worst suspicions. Clean-shaven, denim shirt, and a gaze that skimmed the surface and went straight for the marrow. "Mr. Ellis, come in." Jordan stepped forward. "I'm not even sure how this works," he admitted. Drew nodded. That's okay. Let's start simple. No hacking, no eavesdropping. Everything clean. The overhead light buzzed. Drew shuffled a stack of folders on his desk. My retainers 1 week in advance. You'll have a full report in 14 days. We take photos, timestamps, license plates, all legal. Jordan exhaled slowly and opened his briefcase. Inside were screenshots, printouts of Maya's public schedule, live stream clips, class flyer PDFs. She teaches yoga, he said, voice flat. Except, not always. Drew flipped through the materials, separating emotion from substance. His hands moved fast, but methodical, sliding photos into plastic sleeves, scribbling labels. Facts go here, he said, tapping one folder marked Client Materials, then another, Independent Observations. The sound of pen scratching label tape broke the silence. Feelings stay out. 2 days later. A silver sedan was parked across from the Bright Root studio downtown. A licensed field operative sat inside, coffee in one hand, camera lens braced on the dashboard. Rain streaked the windshield, soft but steady. Hours passed. Studio lights flicked on, women filtered in, yoga mats under arms, but Maya never entered. At 6:47 p.m., the operative raised the lens. Maya emerged from a side alley, not in leggings but a fitted trench. She stepped into the passenger seat of a gray BMW waiting beside the dumpster. The man inside leaned over, kissed her cheek. Click. Wipers beat time on the windshield. That night, Jordan got the voicemail. Patterns forming. I'll brief you tonight. By morning, Drew had emailed a PDF file. 8 pages, embedded photos, metadata intact. EXIF preserved, timestamps synced to the National Time Protocol. Jordan sat in his office, the same one where eucalyptus mist once curled beside coffee steam. Now it was silent, but for the hum of his laptop fan. He opened the file. His hands trembled. Each photo was framed, crisp, undeniable. He saved it to a folder named Real Life. So this is proof, he whispered. A second report followed within days. 3 separate dates. Same man, same pattern. The photo angles varied, some from a sidewalk vantage, others zoomed from across the street. No CCTV, just daylight and patience. One entry included a time-stamped snapshot of Maya holding a green smoothie outside a juice bar, time-stamped 12:06 p.m., exactly when her online class was supposedly live. Her wedding ring was absent. Joint card transactions confirmed 2 drinks purchased, not 1. Drew included an affidavit detailing the entire evidence chain. Every step traceable, every detail aligned. Jordan printed 1 page, held it in his hands. The paper was still warm. That evening, Lorraine called. He almost told her. Instead, he said, "I'm working on it." The line crackled with soft static. "Then work with Grace, son," she said, and hung up. Grace. He repeated the word like a rock in his mouth. The next day, he found himself driving past the studio. Her schedule had listed it as an online class, but there was her car, parked in the same spot as the day before. His grip on the wheel tightened. He signaled a left turn, exhaled. Not yet. 2 weeks later, Drew handed over a manila envelope in person. The office was just as dim, the same buzzing light. Everything's in there, photos, plate IDs, transaction logs, 3 days, same guy, same pattern. Jordan didn't open it immediately. Drew watched him. "You're not crazy, just betrayed." The envelope crackled as he pulled out the photos. There was Maya stepping into the BMW again, smiling, hand on the man's arm. Same trench, no ring, 3 separate days, 3 clear views. Jordan nodded once. He left without another word. It rained on the drive home. Slow, thick drops sliding down the windshield. He passed under an overpass, the concrete dripping through cracks. He pulled over, parked. The rage welled, sudden and sharp. But he didn't scream, didn't punch the dash. He locked his phone screen, set it gently on the seat beside him, folded his hands on the wheel. He inhaled, exhaled. The traffic hummed in the distance, steady, indifferent. "No shouting," he said quietly. "Just truth." Headlights from passing cars smeared across the envelope on the passenger seat, the silent weight of evidence riding home. Jordan woke before the sun. The house was quiet, save for the soft whir of the fridge and distant wind nudging the siding. In his office, he laid the printed photos out one by one, each image sharp, undeniable. He slipped them into a manila envelope labeled in black ink, "Private." The photos felt heavier than paper. He flipped the envelope and wrote on the back, pen pressing deep enough to imprint the desk pad beneath. "Why? When? Was it worth it? Only these three," he whispered. "Only these three." Downstairs, the kitchen buzzed with an unusual warmth. Nia laughed at something on her tablet, while Layla flipped a pancake with more confidence than skill. Maya hummed softly, leaning against the counter, sipping tea. Jordan cracked eggs into the pan, the sizzle grounding him. "You're chipper today," Maya said, eyebrow raised. He nodded, eyes calm. "It's time for clarity," gospel murmured through the radio, a soft undercurrent of memory and grounding. After breakfast, he tucked the envelope into his briefcase. The moment the latch clicked shut, it felt like a second heartbeat, thudding quietly beneath his ribs. He typed a text to Maya, "Let's talk after your last class." The phone vibrated lightly on the wood table. A single vibration. Enough. Hours later, Maya was driving through Buckhead, playlist up, her cracked phone wedged into the console. A text lit up the screen. She tilted it mid-lane to read. The car in front braked, horns blared. She gasped, slammed the pedal. Her body jerked forward against the belt. Then she laughed, nervously, reassuring no one but herself. "Always rushing," she muttered. Back home, Jordan cleared the dining table. He arranged the photos in a quiet semicircle. The envelope stood beside a mug of untouched coffee. Time ticked. Tick, tick, tick. He glanced at the clock again, 20 minutes late. He texted, "Everything okay?" No reply. Tick, tick, tick. Then his phone lit up. Unknown number. He answered slowly. "Hello? Mr. Ellis, this is Nurse Johnson from Grady Memorial. Your wife's been in an accident." Breath caught mid-word. "Which hospital?" he asked, already grabbing his coat. The halls of Grady smelled like antiseptic and old hope. Jordan walked fast, feet silent on the linoleum. Every door he passed opened into someone else's story. Then he found her. Maya lay under white sheets, pale against the sterile blue light, tubes in her arm. A monitor beeped softly beside her, indifferent and precise. He steadied himself. The envelope stayed zipped inside his coat. He didn't look at it. He leaned in close. "Be quiet," he whispered. "I'll keep order for the kids." Behind him, footsteps. Lorraine entered slowly, eyes red. She carried a small battery candle in her hand. No flowers, just light. She saw the envelope in his pocket, said nothing. Lorraine clicked the candle on. A soft amber circle pulsed against the IV bag. She began to hum, quiet gospel, low and even. "Grace first," she murmured. "Justice later." The room didn't warm, but it steadied. A doctor entered next. Her hair was tied back, badge swinging as she moved. "We met at the clinic last week," she said. "I'm covering admissions tonight." Jordan nodded, recognizing her. "She's stable, multiple fractures. Mild concussion. She'll recover, but it'll take time." Clipboard tapped once against her leg. Her shoes squeaked lightly as she left. Jordan sat. The chair was cold. His fingers found the envelope. He pulled it out halfway, paused. His hand brushed the ring on his finger, the one Maya hadn't worn. He slipped it off. slipped it into his shirt pocket, closed his hand, then opened it. Steady. Machines hummed. The candle glowed. Maya breathed. The small amber light flickered beside his still hand. Love, truth, and restraint balanced in silence. Morning filtered into the ICU through half-drawn blinds, turning machines into soft silhouettes. Jordan sat upright in a molded plastic chair, neck sore, eyes dry. The hospital hadn't quieted all night, just shifted tones. Monitors beeped with their own rhythm. Nurses passed by with soft footsteps and clipboard taps. A cart squeaked as it passed, pushing the scent of burnt coffee into the air. "You've been here all night, sir," a nurse said, pausing by the door. "I know," Jordan murmured. He didn't move. His hand drifted to his shirt pocket, pausing over the weight of his ring. He didn't pull it out, just let his fingers rest. The small battery candle Lorraine had brought still flickered on the side tray. Its amber light pulsed against the IV bag, casting a slow rhythm that didn't match the machines. He considered turning it off. Left it on instead. Some lights were meant to stay. Around 7:10, Lorraine returned. She looked worn but unshaken, like someone who'd held her own tears in check until the dawn came. She handed him a paper cup of oatmeal and a folded polo shirt. "Go home, shower, sign nothing yet," she said, voice low but firm. He didn't argue. She added softer now. "Strength isn't loud, it's measured." He nodded once, took the shirt, ate 2 bites of oatmeal and tossed the rest. Dr. Moss stepped in shortly after, clipboard in hand, coat slightly wrinkled. "We met at the clinic last week," she said. "I'm on hospitalist rotation tonight." Jordan braced himself. "She's stable. Multiple fractures, but all aligned. No surgery for now. Mild concussion. Observation continues." He studied her face. "Thank you for keeping it factual." She gave a small nod. Pen clicked once before she left. Later that morning, Lorraine led Layla and Nia into the family room just outside the ICU. Jordan met them at the door. Nia ran forward. Layla held back, eyes locked on the hallway. "Can we see Mom?" Nia asked. Jordan crouched, leveled with both of them. "She's hurt, but healing. We'll take care of each other till she's better." A candy wrapper crinkled in Lorraine's hand. Nia's sneakers squeaked as she stepped closer. "Can we pray?" Jordan nodded. "Always." They didn't pray out loud, but they held hands. Back in the room alone, Jordan pulled out his wallet. Inside was one photo, a printed image from Drew's report. He stared at it in the cold blue light of the monitor. Maya, smiling. Him, reflected faintly in a car window. He tore the photo in half. The originals were filed with Drew under affidavit. This was personal. He kept the half with his reflection, dropped the rest into the bin. "The rest is just paper," he whispered. The machines kept beeping. Maya's fingers twitched. He looked up. Her eyelids fluttered. She didn't open them fully, couldn't speak through the oxygen mask. But she was there. He took her hand, gave it one quiet squeeze, said nothing. He returned to the plastic chair, pulled out his notebook, opened to a blank page. He thought about writing the speech he had prepared, thought about the envelope. Words didn't come. Instead, he wrote one line. "Truth doesn't need noise." He capped the pen, closed the notebook. Before leaving, he approached the nurse's station, gave her instructions about who to call, when to page him, thanked her. Fear lingered like static. What if she remembered things wrong? What if she woke up angry, but he kept walking? The sliding doors hissed open. Morning traffic hummed past. The curb smelled like dew and asphalt. He pulled out his phone, dialed. "James, it's Jordan. Time to start clean." Across the parking lot, sunlight struck his chest. His shirt pocket shimmered faintly. The ring still rested there, a small, steady weight he chose to carry forward. The downtown law office was quiet, all glass and steel and the faint scent of citrus cleaner. Jordan sat across from Marcus Levy, a man in his early 50s with a voice made for courtroom pacing. Today, though, Marcus was still, fingers steepled, the weight of the paperwork already between them. "It's thick," Marcus said, "but straightforward. You've been meticulous." Jordan nodded, gaze fixed on the stack. "I want it handled quietly, no spectacle. Just done." "Smart choice, less pain for everyone." The printer hummed from the adjacent room, punctuating the silence with steady output. Jordan signed the initial forms without comment, initials looping tightly at each corner. Then came the folder. He slid it across the glass table like an offering. "That's the affidavit from Drew Coleman. Chain of custody, photos, logs, all clean." Marcus opened it slowly, flipping through images, noting timestamps. He gave a low whistle, but said nothing else. "Evidence meets admissibility," he said at last. "This is tight." Jordan didn't look at the photos again. Instead, he watched how the lights from outside painted shapes on the glass, reflections of traffic, movement, life going on. "Let it rest in the record," he said. "Not in the air." Marcus moved on. They reviewed joint accounts and credit lines. Jordan had flagged high-expense days, printed statements, even included screenshots from online banking, all accessed legally. "I never broke in. Everything shared access." "You sign here," Marcus said, flipping to a stipulation. "This places a temporary financial order. The bank flags withdrawals over $1,500. No one clears the accounts until this is finalized." Jordan signed. His fingers ached from clenching the pen. The printer spat out another document. Marcus gathered it, stapled, filed. "This keeps it fair and quiet." When the topic turned to custody, the pause was longer. "You want primary?" Jordan hesitated, then nodded. "They need continuity. I can give them that." Marcus scribbled notes. "Weekends shared, counseling clause." "It reads cooperative." Jordan rubbed the space between his eyebrows. "This isn't about punishment. It's about protecting what's left. You're protecting, not punishing. That matters." Back home, with counsel's list on the counter, Jordan packed essentials into boxes. Maya would stay in a furnished short-term rental near her sister. He moved room by room, pulled only what she would need: clothes, toiletries, her laptop, the yoga mat she used every morning. Everything smelled faintly of that diffuser oil, lavender, maybe bergamot. Each box was labeled by room, contents listed on the lid. Cardboard tape tore like a seal being broken. "Order restored," he whispered, pressing the final label flat. Weeks passed. Mornings began to hold shape again. Alarms beeped. Layla poured cereal for Naya. Jordan packed lunches. They got through drop-offs. PTA emails, weekend schedules. Some mornings Nia asked, "Is Mom coming home this week?" "When she's ready," Jordan always answered. It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't the whole story either. The rhythm returned slowly. The old life faded like a watermark. The court date arrived on a cloudless Wednesday. Maya walked into the family courtroom alone, dressed neatly but visibly thinner. Her gait still showed stiffness. She met Jordan's eyes. He offered a nod, not forgiveness, not warmth, but recognition. They both signed. No arguments, no verbal statements. The judge reviewed, stamped the agreement, and said simply, "Case concluded." Afterward, Jordan walked down the courthouse steps into sunlight that felt too bright. A soft breeze kicked up leaves along the sidewalk. Drew called minutes later. "It's done," Drew said. "Records sealed. Affidavit archived, no leaks." Jordan stood still, watching a bus roll past. "You did your job," he said. "Now I'll do mine." That evening, Lorraine brought over a casserole and stayed for dinner. The girls argued softly about table chores. Jordan handed Layla the serving spoon and raised an eyebrow until she laughed. A gospel hymn drifted from the kitchen radio. Lorraine, mid-chew, began to hum along. "You did right," she said, "and you didn't do it with rage. That matters." Jordan looked down at his plate, took another quiet bite. "Peace is quieter than I imagined." When the dishes were done and the girls asleep, he went to his desk. The last document, a notice of settlement filing, sat beside his notebook. He filed it in the drawer, clicked off the lamp. The room was too dark. He reached for the small battery candle, clicked it on. Amber light filled the space, casting a soft circle on the wall. Outside, Atlanta kept moving. Inside, the silence settled, not like a burden, but like a pause. Jordan leaned back in his chair, exhaled. His desk sat bathed in amber glow, papers stacked neatly, justice complete, peace earned without noise. The new apartment key turned smoothly in the lock. Jordan stepped inside the downtown loft, light pouring across stacked boxes and bare concrete. The space was wide open, with high ceilings and polished floors, but the emptiness buzzed louder than expected. He walked slowly across the main room, shoes echoing. The walls were white, untouched. The silence pressed in, not harsh, just waiting. He crossed to the window and pushed it open. A cool gust rolled in, carrying the city's pulse. Car horns below, tires on wet asphalt, distant voices and laughter rising between buildings. Somewhere, church bells rang 3 times. "Different view, same sky," he murmured, resting his hand on the windowsill. For the next 2 hours, Jordan unpacked. He worked with quiet precision, stacking books, sorting papers, plugging in devices. He set up a work desk near the light, laptop at the center, 3 framed photos to the left, a green plant to the right. One photo showed Layla and Nia grinning under a rainbow umbrella. Another was older, Lorraine cradling both girls as babies. The third frame was empty. He placed it there deliberately. He clicked on the desk lamp. Warm amber light spread across the surface. He stood back and looked at it all. Simple, clean. He didn't feel the need to fill the room with noise. By Monday, his schedule returned. Online meetings stacked across his calendar. Familiar routines resumed. PowerPoint slides, quarterly reports, team updates. Numbers brought structure. Tasks moved forward. Midweek, a longtime client leaned into their Zoom screen. "How's the family?" Jordan blinked, took a breath. "We're rebuilding," he said, voice even. Thursday evening, the girls visited for the first time. They burst into the loft, giggling, running through the echo. Layla immediately found the kitchen, opening every drawer. Nia clapped near the walls to hear the sound bounce. "It echoes in here," she shouted. "Is this real brick?" Layla asked, knocking. Jordan let them explore. They spotted the plant by the window. "It needs a name," Nia said, crouching beside it. Jordan smiled. "Only if you water it." They named it Pepper. A sticker soon marked the pot. Pepper, no forgetting. Saturday morning came with their first co-parenting session. The counselor appeared on screen first, voice soft but direct. Maya joined a minute later. She looked better, thin but composed. There were long pauses. The counselor spoke of routines, expectations, boundaries. Jordan focused on the practical. School pickups, medical permissions, shared calendars. "Consistency is care," the counselor said. Jordan nodded. Understood. That afternoon, Lorraine arrived. She brought a paper bag of cornbread and a new candle, battery-powered, amber glow just like the one from the hospital. She stepped in, glanced around. "Minimalist," she said. "Feels honest," Jordan replied. She smiled, setting the candle on the windowsill. She clicked it on, and the room shifted slightly, the light softening edges. "I like quiet, that means something," he added. Monday's mail carried a hospital billing envelope. Tucked inside was a short note. Maya Ellis discharged. Condition stable. Jordan unfolded it once, read it through. His chest tightened, but there was no panic, just presence. He filed the letter under records, slid the drawer closed, and stood still in the center of his space. That evening, he walked. The streets glistened with rain from earlier. Taillights stretched red against the wet. He moved without aim, just rhythm. Step, breath, step. A saxophone played from somewhere, a busker or an open window. The tune was slow and searching. He passed couples laughing, sharing earbuds, leaning into each other. A flicker of something stirred inside him, then settled. In a corner cafe, he ordered chamomile tea. As he turned to wait, someone bumped into him. "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." A woman crouched to grab her dropped cup. Jordan knelt to help. "You okay?" She looked up. Amina Price. He recognized her from Lorraine's church, always juggling her toddler, always cheerful despite it. "Didn't see you there," she said, brushing foam from her sleeve. "No harm," she laughed. Sheepish. "Guess I owe you another coffee." Jordan smiled. "Let's call it even." They stood for a second longer, then both moved on. No promise, just two people in a moment. Back home, the plant sat by the window, leaves turned slightly toward the glass. Jordan filled a glass, poured water gently onto the soil. The water disappeared quickly, absorbed. He leaned against the windowsill and watched the skyline. The lights blurred into patterns, not stories. The ache flickered at the edge, but it didn't return. He turned off his phone. Let silence settle. He clicked on the candle. The amber light pulsed against the dark. Outside, the city pulsed on, unconcerned, unwitnessed. Jordan's window glowed steady above the street. One warm square of light among thousands, steady and alive. 6 months passed like pages turning, one at a time. Jordan sat in his downtown loft, the morning sun crawling over the floorboards. He reviewed a quarterly financial report, glasses low on his nose, attention steady. The plant beside his desk had doubled in size. The frame that once held emptiness now held a photo of his daughter's painting in the park. An email pinged. Subject: "Thank you from Maya Ellis." "Thank you for handling everything with respect." Jordan read it once, hand still. Then he moved the cursor, clicked delete, and exhaled slowly. No anger, just closure. The room stayed quiet, except for the hum of the air conditioner and the ticking of a desk clock. He leaned back, let the stillness settle around him. Later that week, the family met at Piedmont Park for an afternoon picnic. Lorraine spread out the blanket while Layla and Nia unpacked sandwiches and juice boxes. The breeze tugged at napkins and corners. Jordan opened the container of fried chicken, its aroma instantly drawing laughter. A small battery candle sat in the middle, flicked on beside the lemonade. A gust of wind knocked it over. It rolled, paused by Jordan's knee. He reached for it and clicked it back on. "It still works," Layla said, watching the flicker. Jordan smiled. "So do we." They ate under a sky threaded with light clouds. Children kicked a ball nearby. Lorraine hummed a gospel tune under her breath. No speeches, no pressure, just presence. The next morning, his phone buzzed with a text. Amina Price. Community cleanup Saturday. "You in?" Jordan stared at the screen. He hadn't seen Amina since the coffee spill months ago. He thought of her smile, thought of how he'd hesitated to imagine something new. His thumbs hovered. Then typed, "Count me in." Saturday arrived warm and cloudless. At a local park, volunteers handed out gloves and paintbrushes. Jordan joined a team repainting weathered benches. Sunlight struck the wood like polished metal. Blisters bloomed on his hands. Sweat gathered at his collar. But his smile came easy. He laughed with others, brushed green over faded lines. Amina waved from across the field, her son chasing pigeons. Afterward, they shared lemonade on the curb. She handed him a wet wipe, laughing as he wiped his cheeks. "Still got paint in your hair," she said. He shrugged. "New look." That evening, as he folded laundry, the phone rang. "Maya," he answered. "Hey." "Hi. Just checking in about Layla's project. Her art exhibit's next Thursday. I wanted to make sure we're both there." Jordan kept his voice steady. "Wouldn't miss it." A pause. "Thank you," Maya said quietly, "for being kind. We're parents first." "Yeah, we are." They hung up. No lingering, just respect. Thursday came. The school gym had folding chairs in rows, string lights along the back wall. Jordan stood near the last row as Layla took the mic. Behind her, a large collage shimmered. She cleared her throat. "My piece is called Houses Mend. It's about how families change but still hold love." Applause rose. Jordan stepped closer to the display. The collage mixed paper, fabric, foil. A small drawing glowed in the corner, a battery candle next to a plant. The plant wore a sticker, pepper. His eyes stung. He didn't blink, just smiled. "Beautiful symbolism," her teacher whispered nearby. Jordan whispered back, "It really is." That night, the apartment smelled of microwave popcorn and lavender oil. He sat at the table, lit the battery candle. He dialed Lorraine. "You awake?" "Barely," he chuckled. "Just wanted to say, you were right. Grace works slower, but it lasts." A soft exhale. "Then keep tending it, like that plant." They sat in silence together, the line open. He didn't need to say more. Later, he moved the candle to the window. Pepper stood tall beside it. The glow spilled across the sill, over ceramic, onto the frame of his daughter's photo. A breeze shifted the leaves. Somewhere outside, faint jazz danced between buildings. He opened his notebook. The page still read, "Truth doesn't need noise." He added beneath it, "Peace grows where truth stays still." He closed the notebook gently. Below, the city lived on. Cars, sirens, music, laughter. But above it, in one small window, amber light pulsed steady. One man, one plant, one choice kept daily. Legacy, quiet and earned. The end. What would you have done in Jordan's place? Hold the silence or break it wide open? When the truth comes quietly but cuts deep, how do you respond? With anger, with grace, or with both? If you've ever rebuilt after betrayal, if you've chosen peace over payback, share your story in the comments. Someone reading may need that courage today. Please comment 1 if you liked the video, comment 0 if you didn't, and feel free to share why so I can keep improving the content for you. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Your support means more than you know.